Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki Mansai. I have me right here, an exotic, stunning, exuberant with a touch of golden class. I'm talking about Darwin Nunez, but also this cup, yerba mate. South American herbal drink. Not really, Japanese sake. Now I'm playing, it's just water. So what I specifically want to talk about today, as well as doing some player ratings, is Jurgen Klopp's mastery of play phases, of game management. It's something that's heavily overlooked. So many times, the Liverpool fans, you say, hurry up, bring Nunez on, bring on the players, let's change something. We've got to put a midfielder on in place of Gakpo, etc, right? This performance here, we're at Newcastle, was an absolute masterclass in game management and improvising and adapting as the game is going on. And it also shows Klopp's understanding of not just the game of football itself, but also of momentum and timing. And it wasn't just shiny gifts at Christmas time. Klopp manufactured the two game-winning conditions. A creative playmaking forward in the right-sided half channel, Jota and Salah, with Nunez on the last man slid in on 77 minutes and beyond, which gave Newcastle no chance to react. How did he do this? I'm going to do my best to explain it. Dizzy combo breaker! Yeah, something like that. Okay, so let's actually analyse what happened in the match itself, the key moments. Van Dijk, red card. Siving down Isak, clear red card. It's unfortunate. It's one of those where you're too passionate, the adrenaline is rushing, you have a chance to, what you think is to clear the ball, maybe prod a leg in between his feet, but all in all, he's never going to get there. He couldn't shield the player. The only thing he could do was kind of hustle the direction he was going along as well. It's likely Isak would get ahead of him, and it would have been an even clearer sending off, possibly even a penalty. So, made a decision, take him out, go with the chance that the referee might not send him off. He's Van Dijk, is the captain, sent off, fair decision. A little bit of verbal abuse, his animosity, his anger towards the decision. He might get him an additional 1-game ban. Is what it is. So then the decision was made to bring Gomez on for Luis Diaz. Unfortunate, Diaz has been one of our star men in the first 2 weeks, obviously scoring the opening goal against Chelsea, scoring the opening goal last week as well. Having our clearest chance in the Newcastle match thus far with a jinky mazy run, prodding it with the outside of his foot. It was actually going wide, but Pope still made the save. And then we have Gomez in the lineup, okay? So it's Gomez and Matip. And something I really enjoyed about Gomez was his maturity in his performance. He was actually guiding Quansah throughout the latter stages of the match, even after Nunez scored. Gomez is a steady Eddie, a stalwart. Guys, you got to put some respect on Gomez's name. He's always been an uber professional. English, young, brought to the club from Charlton. Had an outstanding season next to Van Dijk. Injury hit, unfortunately injury ridden. But he's never down tools. He's always been a model professional, always there and available for you. Can cover centre back and right back, never complains. And here's the thing you need to understand about Gomez, right? So you want cover, right back. Some of the Liverpool channels want cover for right back for Trent to be brought in, right? We already bought that in Calvin Ramsey, which people seem to forget. I know he's been injured, he's out on loan, but he is the long-term right back cover that we proposed for Trent, right? We also got rid of one right back in the form of Nico Williams. So we do have a player there, but if you're looking for prospective right back backup for Trent, you want a more formidable defender with defence on his mind first and foremost, young, athletic, moldable professional, willing to be a backup, can perhaps cover centre half as well. English would be an added bonus because then it meets a homegrown quota. Is that not Gomez? That is Joe Gomez, and we know he can perform. He knows the system as well and never complains. We have him already. We're not getting a right back. And the first thing Klopp does is to tighten up the middle. So as you can see, right, obviously we play with the three in the middle quite tight together. Endo holding it in anchorman position. McAllister and Szoboszlai tighten up in the centre. Nothing is coming through the centre. Send it out wide, play in front of us. That's completely fine. And traditionally, you might see a 4-4-1 or something of similar sorts. You know, old school, 2 banks of 4. But actually, it's always been a tight three. When we're under the cosh, when under pressure, the three in midfield close up shop and become a tight unit. It's very hard to break into that space there because the half spaces on either side of the number 8 are kind of closed off, right? The full backs tuck in, the centre backs push up into that space, and a tight three in the middle. So then what happens with the other two? We're talking about Gakpo and Salah, right? So these two were actually predominantly played quite high. They weren't there to push against the defence. They were there to pressure the opposition as soon as the halfway point is hit. It's like a half-court press. So Gakpo and Salah doing their bits and pieces in amongst that midfield. And it's very interesting as well, we talk about Newcastle's midfield. Why aren't people talking about Newcastle's midfield? That is a really, really strong midfield. Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, newcomer, but very stylistically impressive so far. And Joe Linton, what a transition into a midfielder. He has all the attributes to play there, performing above and beyond what was expected of him, right? Converted striker. That midfield is very functional, very athletic, very technically good, a lot of quality. Guimaraes is probably the one with the X factor there. Tonali probably has it, but it's his first season in the Premier League. Let's see what he can do. So it's only when them three get in the ball that Gakpo and Salah become activated in that defensive function to try to win the ball back. So we've got the tight unit, and what you have to do when you hit that red card is a shock to the system, shock to the manager, shock to the atmosphere raises. You have to keep it tight and frustrate them for a while, and that's the key word. Jurgen Klopp understood: close out the game, close out the space, put the emphasis on Newcastle. Liverpool cannot start with a low block. It never works because the opposition are not going to be oncoming, on-rushing and breaking their shape to try to break you down. Liverpool have to force issues similar to Man City, Real Madrid and every other big team, which is why the half spaces, Szoboszlai and McAllister always push up and try to create triangles with the front three. But no, when you're under the cosh, 10 men, that is the only time Liverpool can really play a central low block. And my gosh, how effective it is. Imagine the low block of Greece, of Burnley, of Crystal Palace, but with Liverpool's quality and players, regardless that it's 10 men, the quality in that low block is very hard to penetrate, right? And to be fair to Newcastle, on occasion they'd have certain players like Almiron who can break that first line with a darting run and take a snapshot, and like he'd hit the post. And then you look at the substitutions. First is Endo for Elliott and Gakpo for Jota. Okay, so Gakpo's done relentless running, chasing the course similar to Endo. Endo's coverage of the pitch was phenomenal. The fact that he held the position in midfield. He's not going to be the one that chases down to hound the opposition like a Mascherano, like a hound dog. He is the one that holds that position in front of the defence. Is always going to be central to the shape of Liverpool for both transitions, okay? And what I really recognise from Endo's play in this game, and the funny fact that he's only played, right, 2 games, 10 men, 2 wins by the way. 2 wins, 2 conceded and 5 scored, is that right? Off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong, comments below. But Endo is the only player in Liverpool so far that is so clear to see the instructions. Klopp has told him, hold on to the ball, control the tempo until the guaranteed pass is on, because your responsibility is not to transition the ball forward, to play progressive passes, to break the line. It's to become an option for any player on the ball, front or back, and to make that guaranteed pass to someone in a position where they can transition and progress the play. So as a function, Endo was spot on. Okay, he may be bypassed once or twice, but you got to remember, any time an opposition team break your lines or are threatening, it's not an individual player, it's the system. It's the system that dictates whether that is really a player's fault or not. And in this particular function, as the lone 6, and obviously with 10 men as well, it's going to happen. It really is going to happen. You're overloaded. They're going to push someone forward to overload the midfield. So a very respectable performance throughout, and the only way is up, right? He's still getting used to the team, getting used to the chemistry with the players, getting used to the style of play and what he needs to do in his particular role. But he brings experience to that role. He holds a position and he controlled the tempo by holding onto the ball or releasing it as and when needed. So positive signs overall with Endo. And it says a lot, the fact that Klopp is willing to throw him in straight away to release McAllister and Szoboszlai. Traditionally, Klopp doesn't throw in a new signing straight away. We've seen with Fabinho, we've seen with many other players. He holds on to them until tactically they are aware of their responsibilities and then can add their own individual attributes and qualities. But I digress a little bit, it's getting cold. So 58 minutes, Elliott on for Endo. Endo's run his heart out. Bless the man, did a function. We were right in the game up to that point. Near the hour mark, classic Klopp, Elliott, hard presser, technical acumen, technical attributes. Why? People say take off Endo, you're holding midfielder in a game where you're under the cosh, you need to win the ball back. Because Klopp is going for the win. The win is so important for so many reasons that people may have overlooked, okay? If you believe you have a chance to win the game, that is 3 points in the bag. Let's say, for example, we're talking about a 3-match sample. 1 win is 3 points. That's the equivalent of drawing all 3 games. Now, the likelihood of Liverpool not being favourite in those 3 games, no matter who the opponent, right? Or at least having a chance to win. Winning one of those games already puts you on 3. The next equivalent outcome is 3 draws, and 3 draws is not good for Liverpool because you've lost 3 games in a short season. In a 38-game season, 3 games is already out of hand because you've drawn 3 of them. You might as well go for the win, or at least try to win in all 3 of them, because even if you win in a draw, that's better than 3 draws. It also has that mentality, and if you have the right personnel and the right system and the right sense of momentum and phase shift, you can really make an impact here. This is St. James's Park. This is a fired up Newcastle who got Van Dijk sent off with Mr. Tyndall going to Jurgen Klopp, of which he needs to cover his face in shame. Turn your back, Mr. Tyndall. Hey, this snack is called salty. And Jota. The main attribute that Diogo Jota brings to Liverpool is his game intelligence. He knows what to do, how to do it. He also created that chance with a blind ball down the left channel for Salah to come in. Incoming onto his left foot, you would have expected him to do better with that. He hesitated just a fraction, but Diogo Jota can bring that type of ball. In fact, the only two forwards that we currently have who slide rule that ball are Jota and Salah. Gakpo is better coming from deep, bringing the ball with physical presence and force. He doesn't have quite that finesse yet to bring that cute ball in between the lines, in between the fullback and the centre back. Jota and Salah are the ones who can make that ball up front. So you bring Jota on to carry on with the press, carry on with the system as a two-person responsibility against five. The five being the three in midfield from Newcastle and the two centre backs at the back. The fullbacks are obviously bombing forward. St James's Park is absolutely raucous. They expect to win now. Van Dijk, captain, sent off. You're against 10 men Liverpool. They're under the cosh. They're pinned in. You're 1-0 up. Full throttle. Get the other goal. Game is over. As time wears on and they can't break down that shape of Liverpool, the fans get frustrated. The players hear the vocal frustration from the crowd. They're frustrated. Why can't we break down 10 men? This is our opportunity to beat Liverpool. First time in however many years. Many years. Liverpool fans thinking we've got to throw Nunez on. Counter-attack. We've got to break the lines. But every moment that goes by, Newcastle's line is pushing higher. They're committing more men. They're trying to overload wherever the ball is in order to make a breakthrough. They've had a few chances. Alisson heroics have saved the day so far. It's not until 77 minutes. The Nunez and Quansah come on. Quansah for Matip, who's done absolutely a remarkable job. It's Matip and Gomez in the middle, remember? Gomez showing his leadership qualities to bring Quansah through the game. Quansah of the calm personality type. And then Darwin Nunez for McAllister. And here we go. Now, something that's not talked about enough on fan channels and also in Sky Sports match reviews and other things are, what are the conditions to win a game? What situation do you as a team need to create to give yourself the opportunity to make that goal scoring opportunity and hopefully have someone finishing it? When you play Darwin Nunez, the ideal scenario is to get him in behind the team. Okay, when you start with Darwin Nunez, they might play a high line, try and play him offside. There'll be one defender on him, covering him, blocking him, and one around the back to cover as well. Okay, so it's very hard to put Darwin Nunez through on goal when it's 11 on 11, just because the system opposition would have blocked the channels and the runs for him, especially for the ball to make his way through to him to have the opportunity. But who is the best playmaking forward that we have? Statistically, it is Mo Salah. Who is the one who knows what kind of ball he needs to get on the run to finish 1-1-1? Who's always been a 1-1-1 keeper? It's been Mo Salah, threaded through by someone. And in the position and in the space that Salah operates in, the inside right half space of the inside forward on the right hand side channel, that is where he's operating. And we put Nunez, who's traditionally been on the left hand side, either left wing or left forward, cutting in, bending one around. We put him as a right-sided central striker. And the game-winning moment is when Newcastle push up because they're looking to cement their victory. You can get Salah on the ball in that half space when the opposition has pushed up and you have Nunez against the last man, and Nunez wasn't even next to the last man or in line with the last man. He was way far back towards the Liverpool side. However, his pace, his directness, and also his understanding that if Salah gets the ball is coming, and with the best in the world in position, right back, who can break the lines with a pass, delicious pass into Jota, or one of the best pressing midfielders that we have in Harvey Elliott to turn over the ball, block it from Bruno Guimaraes to get it to Salah. Have we just aligned all the stars in one moment in a space of time where Newcastle can't come back if it all clicks together? Some of it may have happened by chance, but Kloppo, I see you sly smiling there. That is your win condition. That is the winning condition for Liverpool to get a goal and get back into the game. Jota found it first time. As I mentioned, who can slide in that ball? Jota a bit lucky that hit Botman twice and flicked onto Nunez. Nunez, good anticipation. But it was calculated. It was by design. The fact that Jota did it to Nunez and Salah did it for Nunez, that was calculated. And the timing that it happened on was when St James's Park couldn't take it anymore, and the players and the squad and Eddie Howe decided that they had to overload Liverpool to secure the result. That's when Nunez comes on. Bring him on sooner and reveal your hand sooner and your card sooner. That may not happen. But at an opportune time, with an aggressive, angry Nunez instructed to hang around in a right-sided striker slot for one of the creative forwards, Jota or Salah, to slide him in. Amazing. And that is also Trent's function in this team. Okay, and Elliot coming on for Endo is now you have so many players, Szoboszlai, Elliot, Trent, who can break that first line to get that ball into Jota or Salah in that half space to create that game-winning position. And now it all makes sense. Compact. It's the personnel in the system and the system that gives you the security. It's not the player. You can see how much better Van Dijk is when the number 6 is there to give him that protection in front, so he knows to be aggressive to close the half space. It's always been the system that determines your defensive solidarity, not necessarily the player itself. The player, obviously the increase in defensive quality of the player helps in that system, but the system trumps any personnel any day. And that is what I mean when I say Klopp has mastered the phases of the game, the timing, the opportune timing to implement his strategy, or at least contingency plan when down to 10 men. And he understood the conditions to win because he had that dynamite superstar Darwin Nunez roaring and ready to go. Put every ounce of his essence into those 2 shots that rifled the side of the Newcastle net. Kloppo, what a star. And now it's time to give ratings, right? Let's do ratings very quickly. Alisson, absolute monster. Star man, kept us in the match. The golden Unchichi. Alisson gets a rating of 9. Fantastic. That save was out of this world class, and he always shows a fire and desire to win, and he was trolling a bit after the match. Nunez. and he's translating as well, right? Absolutely need him in the squad, as you do Thiago as well. And Adrian San Miguel. Alexander-Arnold a little bit shaky up against a pace merchant in Anthony Gordon, who dived a bit easily. Unlucky for the first yellow card, got away with the second yellow card. On the balance of probabilities, he managed to thread that ball in through to Salah in the half space, right near the end. He always has it in him. That's why he plays. The system is designed to protect him. Doesn't always do its job well. Trent did his job okay, but not phenomenally. He gets a 5. Matip, solid as houses. Don't underestimate Matip, right? Just because a few patchy showings on form, the quality never fades, the understanding of the game never fades. It's just a pace, and sometimes the system isn't designed to help him out, and he gets caught in unfortunate situations. It is what it is. Everyone ages, but the quality and reliability, he's still a Liverpool centre-back, and he will show his worth throughout the season. We need him. We need Gomez. We need Van Dijk. We need Matip. We need Konate. We need all of them. Injury prone or what? Matip, Gomez, Konate, between them, partnered with Van Dijk, it's enough confidence to go through the season. And the fact that Endo and Quanta can cover there, ideally we get another centre half, but it's not a huge priority. We have enough to see us through to January. I'm pretty confident in that regard that we're going to have some thrilling results. And Liverpool could always go back to Jurgen Klopp's first season, just outscore the opposition. I mean, we're always going to score. Look at that firepower and the way the system is built. So Matip gets a solid 7 for me. Van Dijk, red card, wasn't completely at the races, made a rash decision, the adrenaline was there, cleaned out the man, went for a 50-50 gamble on whether the official would dare to send him off. He sent him off. He's got to get a 4, unfortunately, it is what it is. Misses at least 1 game, most likely 2 games. Robertson, steady Eddie, nothing outstanding, always available, got the ball a lot. Not a huge amount of threat down his side, not a huge impact offensively either, kept the position well, he always keeps the position for the function pretty well. Solid 6. Endo stuck to his role, did it with discipline, ran his legs off, provided security, wasn't dominating defensively, but was always an outlet, efficient, tidy. Still adapting to Liverpool. 6 is fair. Szoboszlai had moments of silk as he always does, worked hard as always, popped up everywhere. Important function against a very quality Newcastle midfield. Happy to give him a 7 for endeavour, availability, and he mainly had a role of containment. He had a containment role. And he lasted the 90 minutes as well with 10 men, so 7 is fair for Szoboszlai. Similarly to McAllister did everything he could do to transition the ball between the midfield and the attack. Newcastle are pretty tight and pretty solid Eddie Howe tactics. What can you do? They're a really, really good team, as proven last season. Away at St James's Park, tried, good endeavour, substituted. 6 for McAllister, can be better, can have more impact on the game. Mo Salah down to 10 men, chasing shadows, chasing lost causes, but always presenting himself in that pocket where you need him to get the ball to make an impact, and he provided the perfect weighted through ball pass transition to left foot to slide it through to Darwin Nunez, who can hit it first time for a goal. Just on that alone, Salah gets a 7. He probably could have pushed even slightly higher than that, but his contributions are always going to be limited when you're down to 10 men. Similarly, Gakpo ran and did everything he could, tried to link up the play as well, had a single chance. He was legs basically. Him and Salah were legs up front, chasing shadows, a lost cause against the 3 midfielders and the 2 defenders. But they're important to keep us compact in the first line of defence and keep us in that shape, that rugged, rigid shape. So Gakpo gets a 6, did what he needed to do for the cause for that phase in the game. Diaz, he can't really rate. He ran through, had that snapshot, very frustrated to be taken off, had to be sacrificed for Gomez. No rating for Diaz. If you have to say, just a 6, but he did what he needed to do in his limited time on the pitch. You could go overboard with rating Quansah, but on the face of things, if you want to value it just based on what he actually did, a 6 is fair enough. Steady Eddie, solid, listen to Gomez. 1 progressive pass, 1 overhit, 6 for Quansah. I thought Elliott was really trying to make things happen with the ball, and it was his interception, his press that forced a turnover from Guimaraes hitting Elliott onto Salah, onto Nunez for the goal. So Elliott gets a solid 6 from me as well. Similarly, Diogo Jota, live wire, tried to make things happen. Here's one of Fred that tried to slide in the ball for Nunez. Hit Botman twice, went through, hustled and bustled. Slotted the ball in for Salah to hit first time in the left channel, didn't finish it. Creative outlet, sparky while he's on there. He could probably get between a 6 and a 7. Happy to give him 6.5, we'll call it fair. And then our man Darwin Nunez, all he needed were 2 moments, 2 shots, 2 goals, 2-1 victory. And my goodness, he needed that. Darwin's attributes as a footballer are absolutely immense. All he needs is to improve his English, understand the pressing game and what to do, build up some of that game intelligence, and just become more tactically flexible, because we've seen him start on the left wing, bringing it over and try to pull it back or pull it across the face of the goal, not always accurately but quite effectively because of his physical attributes. As a centre forward on the last shoulder, he's aggressive, he's hungry, he wants to go in on goal, he just needs a player to slide him through on that, and now we have that. But if you start with him from the start of the game, you're expecting the opposition to nullify and snuff out the channels for him to run in the ball to get through to him. So it's a very interesting conversation now to have. Do you maintain his form and his momentum to make sure that he can build on top of that and become a devastating striker? Or is he more important as an impactful player where the opposition needs to react to him coming on, and therefore he'll have more of a chance? The surprise factor to get slid in on goal and shoot. I really actually fancy him in this right channel. That clinical finishing is not something that you can pick up easily. The ability to rifle a ball pretty straight, right on point, right into the side of the net, right? He has that. He obviously has that shot, and that's a super important shot to have, as well as bending it from the left hand side, right? So I actually fancy him in that kind of right sided striker channel. And if I was to make a prediction now, I think he starts. I think he starts against Aston Villa. That performance reward deserves a shift in the mental and tactical setup of Jurgen Klopp to get the most of Nunez. Let's put him on. Let's see if he can maintain his momentum in 60 minutes. Change it if you need to, but let's start with Darwin Nunez up front. Darwinho Nunez. And he deserves that cheeky mate with McAllister, right? On the sofa, just chilling the boys. He's got 2 mobile phones. One is a private line for the Miyazaki man. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that analysis. Just my viewpoint from that particular game. I was very, very impressed with it. I watched that game back twice in order to give proper analysis on it, hence why the video is a little bit late. But as always, please drop a like on the video. It helps me beat the algorithm and get the videos seen, help the channel to grow, and subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of Liverpool content coming very, very soon. I'm making the video right now, literally on the new house build. Lots and lots of content in that. I might separate it into several different videos, but keep supporting me, and I hope to make things interesting and exciting for you. Thank you for all the comments as always. I love to read them. Really motivates me. The comments, that's what I live for. You'll never walk alone, Reds. Miyazaki man Ichiban. Let's smash Villa on the weekend. Peace.